In this last episode of the story of the National Government CDF, we will look at other unique benefits of the fund, lessons learned so far, and possible areas of improvement. Welcome, I'm Alex Chamwada. The National Constituencies Development Fund is known for funding projects in areas like education and security. But the COVID-19 pandemic has presented challenges that necessitate new funding initiatives.
The board approved the purchase of face masks. We purchased also thermal cans. We also purchased sanitizers, and we have already distributed them across the communities. And for thermal cans, we felt that these services we need to secure, so as anyone enters in, we measure.
We have done short-term interventions from our bursary, from our emergency kitty. This included purchasing of sanitizers and distributing it to the public. We did that in the beginning. We also purchased water tanks and installed them in strategic places in Kiambu constituency, at the markets, at the bus stops, and in the shopping centers around the constituency.
Thika Town constituency has been able to purchase and install 12 water tanks to 12 institutions. That is 11 primary schools and 1 secondary school. This will come in handy in fighting the COVID-19 virus.
Earlier in this series, we highlighted the role of NG-CDF in water provision in learning institutions. But in some areas, the benefit of this service has gone beyond the learning institutions.
The intended objective why we put borehole there was the school children. But now we've also achieved some unintended objectives as we pursue our own objective. For example, in Nesilalei, that we drilled a borehole that has a lot of water, over 6 cubic. So that water, because it's plenty, the community, the school, sat down and they agreed that they give the community also to have water out of the school.
Tangu hii msaada tupate hii ya maji, tumekuwa tukifurahia kwa sababu tunachota mahali karibu. Tumepata maji yenye inatoka haraka. Kwa sababu kabla ulikuwa unaenda unakaa chini, miguu unaamka kama umechoka, kuna mchanga, saa zingine mto inaweza kuja ifurike na ujui saa zenye itakuja ikubebe ama hata ibebe na hizo mando zako.
In Machakos Town constituency, this water project is not located in a school like the others that we have highlighted. This is a case study of projects that were implemented under the CDF before the devolved system of government and are being sustained through their own proceeds.
Matumizi ya maji, tunapanda mboga, tunakunu, ndio tunaogea, tunafulia. Zamani tulikuwa tunakuja kufulia hapa Silanga, lakini siku hizi tunafulia nyumbani.
Bear in mind that this is a semi-arid area. Majority of the people here depend on agriculture, which does not do very well. And before the water ministry was devolved to the county government, we had done a lot in drilling bores for the people here.
The other unique benefit of the NG-CDF is the aspect of supporting the most vulnerable members of the community.
We are involved in functions that touch on safety nets, like the extreme poverty hit families, in enabling them access a National Hospital Insurance Fund and such like things.
The bridge, we named it Githurai Kamuthi Bridge. The people from Githurai are able to access the areas of Kahawa and Kahawa West. It helps in terms of economic activity. Githurai is a big market and it supplies and feeds majority of the areas.
At this juncture, it is worth mentioning that NG-CDF is not just about brick and mortar. There is the human element in it. Or put it this way, so many jobs have been created thanks to the works accomplished or are ongoing.
Natumia wale Vijana wako kule tu mashinani, mafundi ndio wanaajiriwa kuweza kujenga madarasa, kujenga miundo msingi. Kama ni ununuzi wa material za ujenzi kama saruji, kama mawe ya ujenzi, yanatoka tu kule katika yale maduka ya kule kule.
Katika kujenga, vijana wa hapa walifaidika kwa sababu watu wale walikuwa wanafanya kazi huko, mafundi, watu wa mikono, wote tulikuwa tumechukua hapa. Hata mimi nilisaidika kwa sababu mimi ndiye nilikuwa foreman wa hiyo mjengo.
While education is the biggest beneficiary of NG-CDF, there is life after school. Hence, in some areas, initiatives to support skills development beyond schools are being implemented. In Machakos Town constituency, this new NG-CDF office is designed to incorporate such projects.
The office, it will house the CDF office, constituency office, and at the same time, we want to put an ICT hub that youth can come and browse. They can interact, they can look for jobs, they can also work through internet.
We have a youth empowerment program where we normally train the school leavers to make sure that at the end of the day they put bread on the table. We train drivers, we train masonry, we train masons, hairdressing, short computer courses.
We are looking forward to have a TVET. Some of the children complete school, but they don't have those grades to go to the university, to go to those higher learning institutions. But at a TVET, we start from that lower level, from the level that the child is able to achieve, from their knowledge or their skill. So if we have a TVET in place in Kibra, we are going to embrace every learner as they complete their education.
On to challenges now, and one of the biggest challenges is lack of understanding of the eligible projects.
A good number of the members of the public still think that the current NG-CDF is like the old CDF. So they will come with all kinds of projects that they want implemented, not clear understanding that some of the projects that we want undertaken fall within the revolved functions. And therefore, that creates a problem. The other thing is the litigations. We have a number of cases that come up when people perceive maybe we have trespassed on their rights and so forth.
First of all, identifying the project is a big problem because the needs of the people are so many. There are so many. To identify one or to rank them at times can even take a month before you send the proposal to the board.
Land has been an issue in this constituency. And given that we wanted the constituency to grow very fast in terms of infrastructure, we brought on board our engineers, drawn from the Ministry of Public Works. They did a master plan. They advised us for us to be able to utilize this space well. We utilize the space upward.
On the contrary, in Kajiado West constituency, which is one of the largest constituencies in Kenya, land is available, yes, but it is a challenge in itself.
Because we are talking of it being very expansive, for us as the office, to reach every part of this constituency, it is not a walk in the park. It is a challenge, although when it comes to projects, we get project proposals from the ground, but you'll also realize that times we need to reach there to really identify these challenges. But now, visiting these areas may not be very, very easy. Or if you go once, for you to go for another time, it will really take some time.
The other challenge is related to qualifications of project management committee members.
Project management committees are people drawn from the community. And these people, at times, they are not professionals, they are not trained. So at times they are forced to train, and when you train them, the time is not so adequate to train them to come to get the skills that are needed to manage the fund.
We are trying to empower Mwananchi to not to be just a passive player in development, but to be active in not only identifying their priorities, but also participate in the implementation. Mwananchi, through the project management committee, also participates or plays a key role in accounting for the funds.
The National Assembly Constituencies Development Committee, which oversees the NG-CDF, also has its observations about challenges.
Sometimes the Treasury has delayed to release funds to the board. Like for instance, At the moment, I think about 9 billion from the previous financial year has not been released. That delay has an effect on project implementation and operations at the fund.
What I would want to appeal to the members of the public is that there is a need for them to familiarize themselves with what it is that can be undertaken by the Constituency Development Fund, so that even when they are coming up with project proposals, they are well versed with what it is that qualifies. Members of the public should understand that the resources that we give to the constituencies are intended for development of their areas. So it's their duty to ensure that those resources are optimally used, and they can also maintain an eye and demand accountability from the way the projects are being undertaken.
We are trying to make to enhance accountability of the constituency committees. In fact, for the last 3 years now, the board has put all the constituency committees on performance contracts, and every year they are evaluated based on the implementation of performance contract. In other words, we need to strengthen these accountability mechanisms to ensure that all the organs that manage this fund at grassroots level continue to be accountable to wananchi. And this requires that we continuously dedicate our efforts towards continuous capacity building, continuous tracking, monitoring, and digitization of our processes so that we can be able to get effective feedback from the constituencies to the national level.
For Engineer Muriuki Karue, who is the brains behind CDF, this method of enhancing development at grassroots level will eventually get a natural ending.
With time, you build all the primary schools you wanted. Even if there is an increase, it will be minimum. You build the secondary schools you wanted. Those infrastructure will trail off as we go on. And my take is that CDF should get to a natural death on its own. And perhaps we retain that vote the way Canadians have done over these 40, 50 years, where there is that element that those grassroots things will always be needed. There will always be a dispensary needed. There will always be a ward needed. There will always be some new classrooms needed. There will always be a laboratory for a secondary school needed. But they will trail off. There will come a time when you really don't need that impact which you are trying to do. It should die a natural death.
I worked with Karue that time. I was still in Parliament. Whatever he did, whatever this act, establishment of the CDF fund has done, will be remembered forever. This will never be forgotten.
It's been a great 4-part series, the story of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund. We have looked at its origin, its transformation, milestones, challenges, and possible areas of improvement. On behalf of the entire production team that made this production possible, many thanks for watching, and remember, you can find all the episodes on our YouTube channel. Bye-bye.